Thank you. Now I feel for all the speakers that I drag on stage at the conference. I'm not used to that, so please excuse me being nervous. So what can I tell you about the urban future? I could talk about probably around the 200 speakers that we will expect. We can talk about the great topics of the program. We can talk about the spectacular new venue that we'll be using in downtown Oslo. But I think to really understand what the Urban Future Global Conference is all about, you really need to understand who are the people that are getting together at this conference. So let me start with introducing you to four people that have been speakers at the conference in the past year. Anybody here in the room who knows one of them? Okay, not a single person. Okay, perfect. Because that's part of the Urban Future Conference. So here we have 250 experts on sustainability in this room, and you don't know them. And the Urban Future is about connecting people with people that are really relevant to their work that you don't know. That's the point of the Urban Future. But before I tell you more about those four people, I'm going to tell you a little story about how the Urban Future Global Conference started, so that you better understand why it's here in Oslo and what's the big fuss about it. Because you can pretty much summarize it in the famous slogan from Nike, "Just do it," because it was not planned at all, the way it turned out to be and the way it is today. So it started all with an idea about 5 years ago. We had been consultants to cities at that time, and we have been working with the city of Graz, my hometown in Austria. And some people from the city within the project, they told us, "Do you know what, Gerald? We're really fed up with this term smart city. We can't hear it anymore. Everything is smart." You mentioned that in your presentation as well. And they said smart city is usually directly associated to technology. And basically all these events that are around smart cities, they want to sell us technology. And that's way short of what we really want to do in our cities. Because technology is usually not the problem when you want to introduce change in your city. The much bigger question is, how do you actually do it when you make a decision what you want to do? So that kept us thinking. And we started with the idea to set up an event, not about technology or what you should be doing, but actually focus on the people who do that change, the people who roll up their sleeves in the cities and do change, make change happen. That was the basic idea. And we imagined, let them talk about what they do. Let them talk about the great things that work, about the things that fail completely. Let them network among each other. Let them share their experience and their stories. And let them get inspiration. That was the basic idea that we had. We had no clues about event at that time. And we thought, well, we should be starting maybe to research what kind of events are out there. So we started researching smart city events. Do you have any idea how many smart city events are out there? Yeah, we don't. We don't because we stopped counting when we had 1,500 in just 4 countries in Europe. And we said, okay, so putting up a new conference is not really a no-brainer at that point. But we still went for it, and we imagined a regional event for Austria, for the Austrian community. We were shooting for 200 people to attend. We were dreaming of 300 people, and we ended up with 1,000 people from 30 countries. We were completely unprepared for what came and what happened, but you simply cannot plan for this. And within just a few months, we went from being business consultants and strategy consultants to becoming event managers. So today, the Urban Future, or this idea, developed into what is Europe's largest event on sustainable cities, and in particular for the people who make that change for cities to make them more sustainable. Just a few weeks ago, we had the third installation of the conference in the city of Vienna. We had more than 2,500 people attending the conference from 60 countries, 5 continents. It was a spectacular event. Those of you who have been there, thank you for being there and making this work. But let me give you some facts on what to expect in Oslo maybe next year. So I can give you the main numbers. So we're expecting anywhere between 2,500 and 3,000 people to come together here. They will be coming from 60 or more countries, 300 cities. There will definitely be lots of mayors and deputy mayors be part of it. But also it's not just going to be one conference, because the Urban Future attracts other conferences, and it will be a week packed of conferences, meetings. It's going to be the World Green Building Council. It will be the United Nations Global Compact on Cities. It will be ISOCARP and many other organizations pooling their European meetings into that week. So it really pays off for people to come to Oslo in that particular week. It will be more than 50 organizations, regional ones, national ones, international ones, being part of the conference. And there will be many, many opportunities for you to meet those people. The fuck-up night, that's one of my favorite. We have one session where we talk only about failures, how cities really mess it up. And that has been one of our highlight sessions in Vienna, and I can just promise you, you should really look at it, because there you have people talking about things that went really sour, that you would never expect them to say that, because any politicians here? No. Usually things never go wrong officially. They just unofficially. But that's the session where we only talk about that. It's going to be more than 45 sessions. It's going to be field trips. And in particular for green businesses, there are going to be lots of activities around that. So this is like the Urban Future in a snapshot. If you want to share that on social media, please go ahead. That will be the image to copy. So until September, so the next couple of months, we will be working on the program and developing all the little sessions and topics that we'll be covering and the experts will be covering. But 4 things I can already share with you. There will be 4 main themes around which the program of the conference will be centering. Urban mobility, that's a no-brainer. Important to every city that wants to be in sustainability. Leadership. Is an issue that we saw is really strong, because here we talk about all the soft skills that leaders in whatever hierarchy level they are really need to get people to do things that they are not doing at the moment, or to move projects forward. We have a big section on green business and innovation, and we have a great section on built environment and architecture, which is also due to the fact that Oslo is really good in this part. And also thanks to FutureBuild and the close cooperation that we have with the great team of FutureBuild. So let's get back to where we started. Those 4 people, and why those 4 people are so special. Those 4 people are what we call city changers. They are not only talking about what should be done, but they're actually ones that roll up their sleeves and make change happen. And that's the core of the conference, what we try to do. We try to get together city changers that do drive the change and share that experience. So meet Unur, for example, from Reykjavik. She's an expert on public participation, and they experienced or tried out new things of public participation, and their experience got, in the meanwhile, transferred into many other cities around the world. Or Heinrich, he's a biking activist from Berlin, Germany. He's more or less single-handedly got out and got 500,000 Berlin citizens to sign a petition that pressured the government to invest more into biking infrastructure. Nadine, she's an expert on circular economy, and she works on the biggest project in the Netherlands on developing a circular economy district. Rui, he's mayor of Porto, and he was a businessman becoming mayor based on a campaign that's centering only around social inclusion and arts to develop the city further. And I think what you can see is that these people are completely different. They have vastly different backgrounds. They work in completely different fields and organizations. And also, you might want to say that they operate on very different hierarchy levels. And that's true. That's absolutely true. But that really explains what the urban future is, because they have one thing in common, and that's their incredible passion to drive change and make their cities more sustainable. And that's the bottom line of the conference that we're putting together. And that's the reason why you should be there next year. May 22nd to 24 in Oslo. Thank you.